Hello, here I am with Mr. JWW, James. We're in the middle of a road trip with Supercars Club Arabia.
Yeah.
And we're currently stopped, as you can see up there. You can probably see it says 5, that's 5 minutes. It was 21 minutes when we got here.
I've never seen the traffic like that. Legit, we pulled up and it said 20. I thought it was like misspelled. Or,
yeah, you're like, it's going to count down from 20 to
21
naught.
seconds or something.
But the reason I thought I'd start up the camera and fire it up is James has just given me the keys to drive his Gen 2 GT3. This is the first time in the last sort of day, well, I've been in a Gen 2 GT3. You've had it for
Since April, yeah.
months?
I've only managed 5,000 miles in it.
So it's nice and run in.
Well, that's without exception. The last 2,500 miles have been in the last 3 weeks.
Yeah.
Off the back of Gumball and now this trip.
How are you enjoying it so far?
It's amazing. It's really good. It's a nice step on from the Gen 1. So I did 20,000 miles in the Gen 1. And so jumping into this, the immediate differences I think you'll notice is the torque of the engine.
Yeah.
And the 9,000 RPM now is like fully usable throughout the whole rev band. So in the previous one, I felt the last 500 from 8.5 to 9 was kind of a show.
Yeah.
But now it feels like
it kind
went
of got
around the
to
whole
like
way.
8.5, and then there was another half, but it was just noise.
But it was just like, this sounds amazing,
Yeah.
but you could kind of short shift, as it were, if there is such a thing as short shifting at 8,500.
So without much further ado, and 3 more minutes, I'll give you a little run around of the car, and then I'm going to get in, have a drive, and see what we think. So we have in here, we have the PDK. I think James went for, why did you go for PDK? Any particular reason?
I track it a lot. I do lots of track days in it, and I just find when I'm really on it on track that I found on circuit I prefer PDK, but also I use the car on the daily as well.
Yeah.
And when I'm stuck in traffic or I just want to chill on a long motorway journey, it's nice to just knock it over into auto and chill. And so
yeah, it's a big difference. We've got lots of little carbon bits here, carbon in the door, nice little GT3 logos, eyes up. You've got this custom Mr. JWW logo in the middle.
Porsche actually, they kind of surprised me with that. I said I would like to do some kind of customization on the car, and the obvious thing is often you can get this like kick plate done. But when we put it on the computer to see how it rendered, it looked a bit naff. So we thought, oh, scrap that. And then one of the salesmen said, you know, you can have your logo embossed in there. I said, okay, let's go for it embossed. And then they just took it upon themselves to do it in stitch.
It looks very good. It just ties in with the stitch interior and stuff.
Yeah.
So the back we've got the cage, so we've got the wherever they are harnesses. And you can see part of it there for a bit of track action. Some space for luggage, and then we've got you went for the folding buckets with these lovely carbon backs, so you can just easy access for jamming stuff in.
I found two things. So having spent some time in the fixed like 918 style buckets, they're very slightly tighter. So on a longer journey, there's like this slight pinch point, and also accessing the back. Like I do use this for evidently road trips, and just to be able to have that, folding it forward and getting easier access to the back makes so much difference.
I've noticed straight away that they're quite 1 minute padded. So we've got 1 minute. Let's get in the car and see what we think.
It's crazy.
Yes.
So good.
Yes.
That's what we've been needing for the last few days.
Back in the car now, and just had a sick section of road and a chance to really get to grips with this car. I was in it yesterday a bit and got a little bit of driving.
But then it started raining.
But not tons, and it started raining. And to be honest, in that point of time, I didn't really connect with it at all. Didn't really feel like much was going on. Whereas just had like a proper like windy, fast, on the brakes, on the accelerator experience, and the car has suddenly woken up in my hands. Like I kind of thought the steering was like a little bit like numb before, but now like when you're leaning on it, it gives you all the stuff you need. It just doesn't, there's just not that extra stuff, but you feel everything you need. In terms of the turning, you 100% notice, I'm just gonna pull in here for a second, 100% notice the four-wheel steering.
Yeah.
And the front end, I think, on this is just better balanced and sorted than my car, which is a Gen 2 GT3 RS. Like, you can just add in a little bit more sometimes, and I know my RS would kind of have pushed.
Go a bit wide.
And it just like, you just can keep adding
cool,
even more,
right?
and it just starts to rotate a little bit.
The rear wheel definitely makes it really stable.
It's funny, like you can see my face like right now versus driving it yesterday.
Yeah.
And right now I'm like, I've got this like.
This is great. I like in this car a little bit. We were talking, funnily enough, off camera yesterday, saying that I liken it to a jet ski, in that, you know, when you're like going slow and it's kind of boggy and not very agile, it's not until it finds its plane and it rides the surface of the water that it becomes like super agile.
And like
this is like that.
And and I think it's something I've said about GT products before, and it was something that like once you get to 6,
it comes
and you
alive.
go up to like 9, the
all on
whole
the top.
car kind of comes together, and everything starts to like fizz. Like I've got like
starting to fizz now.
needles in my fingers because everything's going.
This is good.
yes. GT cars are so good.
That's so good.
So that was my
We've got a lot more.
couple of
this.
minute review of the
how
Gen
great
2
it is.
GT3. Now, right now, would you, if you said to me, would you want a manual? I think
I'd like to try.
I'd like to try
I'd love
one.
a back-to-back opportunity.
But right then, I did not miss it because you're changing gears
so
so fast
engaging,
and you're
yeah.
so like on it.
And also, you know how this whips through those revs?
Oh, it really does.
I mean, if you were up 8.5, 9 in a manual, you'd be busy, boy.
You would.
You'd be busy.
And also, like, you get the torque in this car is significantly more than my car and the Gen 1. Like from I would say 3-4 stage, which you kind of spend a lot of time on when you're on Alpine roads, because you can't be fizzing up at the top at 7-8 all the time.
Not the whole
It's just
time.
not possible, because you know you've got to slow down, do the stuff, whatever. But it's definitely got a bigger mid-range punch just to help you before you get into that fizz zone.
It's nice, right?
It just like
It's so
pulls
good.
you up there, rather than in the my GT3 RS. If you're, let's say, a hairpin in second, you come out and you start to be like, come on, unless you're in the top of
Interesting. Yeah,
first
unless
and
you're
you're
right
like
up
on
the
it,
band.
and then you're coming in a bit too fast.
Yeah.
Whereas that mid-range punch,
It's there for
I
you,
kind
right?
of want that.
It's kind of nice.
Makes me think back to I've always pondered a 4.1 conversion on my RS to
man.
get a bit more punch, but for this,
This is a great engine. I mean, this is as close a engine as they've made to their Cup car engine
yes.
in a road car, which is pretty sweet.
And this is the perfect road for this car and this scenario. And I don't know whether it's quite as exciting at the slower speeds as my RS, but only because you're.
I think it doesn't
like-
have the organic jiggliness that the
Yes,
Metzger
it doesn't have the like.
you know? Yeah.
But also like it's a more of a premium interior. You're more insulated and isolated from the outside.
Yeah.
And
It does need an exhaust though.
That makes it nicer on a road trip, I think, because you've got more kind of like a bit more lux.
Yeah.
But
it's a cracking road.
we need an
car,
exhaust.
man. It
I
does.
think the exhaust
Not
would-
for the accelerator sounds amazing.
Yes.
It's the downshifts for whatever reason. I don't know if the valves don't open up on downshifts, but it feels a very muted tone upon downshifts. And you really I feel the engagement of when you're downshifting is 80% in how much feedback it gives you from the sound. Right now from stock, it doesn't quite have that.
Yeah, I had to change the exhaust on my car when I did the warranty like not that long ago, and it had a Sharkworks like your old car, and I put it back to stock, and I drove home, and on the drive home, I nearly was like, I'm gonna sell
I don't want this car anymore.
I don't want it. It's rubbish. Like, I don't know why. It was like everything that I was used to on that car. I've had that exhaust on it for 4 years, and
Yeah,
it's like
that's it.
I can. It fits like how I know,
it's
and
so
then you
important.
blip it, and
It's so important.
I'm used to hearing like a certain amount of noise. Anyway, back to driving.
Do it.